doing a comedy set right now. I'm not. I just want to say Yvonne's piece was insane. That was amazing. I can't see anything, I don't know where you are, but that was really cool. We should all be doing performances.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Yes, absolutely.
Anyway. Okay, this is called I'm Going to Tell You 50 Jokes. Okay. The horse's uncle, the mouth's depression, the orange's pistol, the strawberry's jealousy, the computer's craving, the nap's lightning, the cake's tongue, the mango's money, the shit's regret, the worm's dream, the goodbye's hometown, the butterfly's cell phone, the baby's recipe, the rain's good news, the miracle's mom, the ring's ass, the jet's style, the hammock's pain, the bear's horoscope, the wheel's anxiety, the light's anger, the anger's cigarette, the joke's family, the chicken's melancholy, the urge's rhetoric, the sea's milk, the lemon's mumbling, the butter's mistress, the chickpea's liturgy, the underwear's dream, the egg's country, the glass's sorrow, the insider's beloved, the water's goodbye, the mariner's homework, the hill's coffee, the kiss's history, the sparrow's grief, the tooth's law, the glass's unreal, the sloth's providence, the stomach's reality, the lily's chapel, the boondog's sacred, the marshmallow's liking, the lawn's yawn, the mint's data, the desire's wrestling, the diamond's father, the answer's offer, the parrot's lore, walk into a bar. Okay, this next poem I wrote for this amazing, amazing woman who I discovered actually while researching stuff for poetry project. Her name is Rose Lesniak.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Oh cool, okay. She has a crazy life. She was like a poet in New York in the 80s. And then she became a homicide investigator in Florida. And then she became a dog walker. And now has like an amazing dog walking website that has like her little poems posted in a little section called Rose's Ramblings. And everyone, we need to make this like a thing because she's amazing. Okay, this is called A Poem for Rose. Rose, were there glory days? When the sun finally ripened 80s velour, cast a sweet square shadow on that church's hooded brick. When you kissed your last dyke poet goodbye, and you walked out of the siren's house. When you turned instead to dead bodies, puzzling mysteries in a room slackened with brute cold, silvering away in Florida, of all places. There is no room for words in Florida. In that haunt that took you away from New York and into the hands of mysteries vile, into time bombs, then into a pack of dogs. I found your dog walking website. Once a wordy yearling, then a homicide detective, now grunts the pack and writes Ruddy Buster poems in tiny font in a secret part of your printed newsletter. Those vowels howled to me, Rose. How many dogs do you walk, and in what way do you walk them? Do you walk them like a poet? Do you walk them like a cop? I don't offer much in conversation, especially to animals, but when my dog was dying, I read him a book of Mary Oliver poems called Poems for Dogs, and his chest stopped heaving. And there are very few people who understand what that means, but Rose, you centrifugal force, sharp and glassy, I think you might be the one. Okay, my last poem is called Sometimes in the Dark. Sometimes in the dark, at night, when I'm flat on my stomach, I hear music coming for me, like some psychosexual radio show. Voice, dial change, static, the news, belly deep and blue toned, my bedroom windowsill, my cactus's fingers erect, a secret that is nighting, that is daying. The child I care for does not understand his penis, but uses diurnal to describe an animal. Children, they won't teach you much about desire. There will be no proper names in this poem, because I am trying to escape it. What's it this time? It's circular, like a watch face. It's drowning, like a balloon. It's the dying helix of a moth's wings in the throes of a final fight. We compare things we don't understand to others we understand less. It's that sound in our throats when the othering crawls back in. I'm often afraid to write this because this leaves its whole belly to the sky, soft and mushrooming. There, an adjectival membrane. I'm scared to say things like this. This is meant to be read out loud. Why? Truth is weakness. I come across like I might cry often, but I don't cry often. Why you didn't like me when you first met me. Ego, lily pet. We are tiny creatures in a flake of salt land. Some parts of the world are so beautiful they make ruin. Other parts of the world are not. I mean the sky, the window, this evening, and there, from there, the radio sounds. Aida, who is my absolute homie. One time at Poetry Project, like a poet came in and asked Aida, what kind of poems do you write? And Aida freaked out and said, I don't know. And I absolutely regretted that because they do know. That's a true story. I said, I don't know, I'm too young. Which is embarrassing. What a wet day it is. And suddenly the sun sets later, full of its own fears and wants. You forgot the yellow we gasped at the first sunny morning all October. Sure, it slipped your mind, but do you remember what my hand felt like that day, close up in you? The mirrors in the beach abandoned work sit pretty in their gold framing. A woman walks out in front of them. She is the filmmaker, this is her movie. Her linens sway in the wind, then stick to her legs under the darkening sky, so the water has room to breathe. Rectangles are the perfect shape for what they do. As in, open my window, then close it, rearrange the lamp and stack of books and tiny photo on my desk, right-angled music laughing out of the speakers on the sidewalk. Whisper with me at that yellow. This next poem is called Aftermaths. And I say back many times in this poem. And I tried to see how many little times I could say it. And I failed, but maybe not. I think it works. Aftermaths. Back outside behind the house, the neighbor cats play boxing match, pawing at the other through a crinkled porch deck screen. Above, helicopters, loud like April wind on the top stair, roof doors smacking open, shut, bang. Below, top floors of skyscrapers in fall, bashful. Sing me a song, little buildings. I'll write you verse in return. At this landscape, Icarus falls, his last legs splashing slack, knees spun into background flack. But in this painting, the sound, like the skyscrapers, is afterthought. Tiny figure in the corner, sputtering out of the way. My friend comes by, and she is soaking wet, her umbrella pooling in the hallway. It is raining in April, like it's supposed to. But this week, someone lit the dance party on fire, and the DJ is still in the hospital. My friends will go dancing tonight, but keep an eye on the door, gushing secrets in the bathroom, peeling toes on the sticky floors. The ants at a party thrown. And the morning residue, brown, sugary, wet with sweat and drinks and the remainder of drugs. Everyone glowing and then not. Outside, it still rushes. The trees in twilight water ride, their sharpest feelings laid to weather on still bare branches. This is their crucible, spring wet, pre-wet for springtime. The first blooming trees want it all. Full white buds like so many delicate trumpets, brass like armor, buds like, look at me, I primed up for you. In Turkish, there are 2 words for lightning. Şimşek, the rod itself, smote down from sky, and Yildirim, the word for the whole horizon alighting. Inverted eclipse, mirroring the sun, like all the world exploded, like the microphone turns on too close, so feedback, and then the words meant only as whispers, suddenly projecting, sirens and rain, sound bags for the tired. That was also actually written in a poetry project, a workshop, led by Desiree C. Boo. This next poem is called The Kid Who Accepts Blame, and I wrote it in a van. The Kid Who Accepts Blame. I'm hardly scraping by with all the crushes I have, towering over the city, and here I am in a van driving down to North Carolina. There's a highway stoppage. I'm that kid whose lips are ripe for kissing, plumped not from the tingling kind of lip gloss that makes your lips bigger, but from all the cherries I had for lunch. Let's be faithful to the soft part of a hamburger, its juices, the most erotic thing I've seen in months. I surrendered to the meat and the dairy and the soft bun. My love, I have one, it turns out, has found her headphones. They were buried in the bed and had slipped under my side, but it was very sexy in there, a sexy crevasse. Learn to love the cold pizza you find in the fridge morning after. When I visited my friends, they were moving out of the apartment where the landlord had asked them to leave for the night when they had a home birth. I regret not a single thing. I embrace the sunlight at dawn and the sunlight at evening. I especially love the sky behind the mosque at sunset on the very first Tuesday of June. Catherine has decided to be helpful today. Granny drove the van. Tosh is giddy at driving. I eat a Kit Kat for dessert and sit up tall like my mother tells me to. Drink your fill every day and night, Ida, and kiss it too. Good night and good morning in all the languages you can tone. It's never a mistake to kiss the wet towel hanging in your bathroom. The title of this poem comes from a review. There's a mug that Target had a limited edition of that was like a pink mug with like a part of a Sappho fragment in 6 different fonts. And it was like light pink, and it lasted for all of like 1 week. And this is from one of the reviews on the Target website of this mug. Just a second. I would have preferred something lighter, but I can't complain. The mother on the other side of the phone line is gardening. Her feet are not yet coated in the underbrush or the overbrush. She does not imagine sprinting into a proverbial field struck by the midday sun, and instead counts the crocuses and weeds between the tulips, for it is early spring and her son is gone. He asks for the usual things: money, a visit on a weekend that does not work for her, advice on things she cannot seem to care about. He does not hear that, the uncaring, in her voice, and instead talks until he has bored himself, and then he says he has walked to the place, and he hangs up. She holds the phone between her shoulder and her ear until she gets to the back door, where she drops it between her knees, and stretches her back, and sets down her trowel, and leans against the house, where she will have a friend over later, and they will not talk about their sons, but instead about the sun at this time of year, and they will drink tea in the afternoon, Hours before the moon will rise, and she will go to bed early. This is my final poem. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Easy Paradise. Thank you, KTV Bar. I'm very grateful I get to be here today, speaking of friends and strangers as well. Reading this. This poem is called Split Me Lengthwise. It's easier that way. A train arrives. It reminds me of kissing your knuckles. People in the kitchen praise orange wine, which I then bring to a friend's house who has made me dinner. Arugula pesto in a studio when we watch the sunset over the river, which is actually close but looks far away over the buildings. Every minute could count for the last one, but it doesn't, and the day passes. The toenails need to be cut. The rice pot bubbles by the whistling kettle. You tell me that every object in the kitchen can be alive if you let it. Did you learn that when you played the candlestick in the middle school musical? We can't hold hands or kiss in the stoop, so we just look into each other's eyes and think about how we should be used to this by now, and what a tired way to think about time passing. Eliza would say that's how the fascism gets in. You succumb to the everyday of it. In a journal, I find a longing for answers. In a poem, I simply long for the right questions. Simple. My eye twitches. I look it up. Stress or too much screen time. I remember the field out by the ocean next to the road, goldenrod and aster and hollyhock and milkweed, and we took a photo back when we both had bangs and I looked like a girl. We swam that day, 2 Julys ago now, our nerves pulsing in the cold fresh water, our chests sweating against the waves. I swim like a flame, I dance like a feather, my hands swing above my head and land at my hips. You can stare if you need to. Gentle my face wind and slip down your pipes. I, on a soft pillow, will lay down my legs. Thank you. It's my honor to now present Matt Proctor.
Thank you. Thank you again to all the readers. Thank you to KGB for having us. Hopefully we don't get kicked out. I got kicked out of half my gigs this year and I got paid on the other half. So it's an interesting ratio. I print these diary pamphlets. I'm a cosmopolitan micro diarist. And I've gotten really into podcasts. So like I just write like I'm talking. And I really want to do what Yvonne Levian does. That is just the gnarliest shit. But, so this book, I put these books out pretty regularly. They're kind of like my diaries. I put one out every few months. And so I've got a bunch of them. Come up and see me afterwards. So this is for my new one. This is called Bloom's Day, which I'm really disappointed James is not here, because it was kind of inspired by conversations. He was reading Ulysses, and I read it a few years ago. And, so this first poem has got a lot of the Poetry Project in it. It's got people in it, it's got incidents in it. In this book, because it's a diary thing, so there will be kind of just different things that happen at the Poetry Project and elsewhere. So this new diary, the New York Times has been writing this article about like the top 25 New York City novels of the past century or whatever, so that was the inspiration. It's my New York City novel. Bloom's Day. 2 words. 6'8", strand pleasing. Practicing nunchucks under the table. Kate McKinnon kisses her girlfriend under the trees on the green of Tompkins Square Park immediately to my left. Based God. The gig calls me to apply pressure as they've pre-sold 0 tickets for Friday at $15 a piece. I say make it free and get some people in there. Drinking and having a good time. The steak was like corned beef. It was delicious, Johnny Thunders. No one's watching. 82 degrees, hot sun, cool breeze. I just got done putting out 100 fires. plunging cunt. Get a bucket and a mop for that fair play for Cuba off-topic response. Jesse Plemons, Tony Randall, Hugh Jackman, Remy Auberjonois. I've got to be at work soon, 6:26 p.m. Profoundly interested in realism. Then so is everybody else. Like a tsunami coming to support your boogie board. There's only been 3 or 4 experiences in my life. Joe Franklin never went to a beach. Non-present presence. Did stand-up comedy yesterday for the first time. Medium bomb. An acid casualty in the basement. Broadway Comedy Club looking like Marin Jr. Tattoos on my legs. 5 minutes to midnight. I didn't plan for it to happen this way. Discovering high school in high school at length. Chocolate neutral AIDS. My body's scuffed. A quick guide to omniscient sex. 33,140 likes. 33,140 likes. Courtesy, professionalism, respect. Promoter just playing catch with a paper airplane with Matty D in the parish hall. His friend hands me a drawing he made during the reading. Says I can have it if I'll publish it. Cover of next issue, Easy Paradise, came to me in my hands. A dream sleeping of 2nd Ave. Celtics beat Golden State, Game 3. We watched through the window of a bar. These kids laying on my cables, drawing in notebooks, the whole reading like fiends. I need to sleep, it's how I dream my life. Show and tell show, where people do what they did in school. 5 minutes to bring something in and talk about it. Listen to the first 4 Led Zeppelin albums today. And Physical Graffiti. So don't say I'm not being productive. Emily G puts the topper on the interaction. Buttons, exits, getting wine. Nan Golden is reading. Holy shit! In Acoustical Society, we make up with the sunrise. 4 Sticks sounds like the 70s. Had no clue what the cover was when I was 9. Early favorite albums I'm revisiting. Riding my scooter to Steinway, Queens when Jax comes to New York to learn how to install a certain type player piano system. By chance, Proust audiobook. Robert Anton Wilson, Cosmic Trigger. Listening as reading. My ears do it while I'm laying, recharging with my phone. Ad cuts into the middle of the Lemon song. Trying to undo the 60s. Who will undo the now? Theodore Berry's Reject Your Whole Premise. Sadism and Rational Thinking. My book is The City. I read events which are living inspiration in the shade. Nos' drawing, lying on an orange cable. Tap down, fuck, I need a new notebook. Fuck, I need a new notebook. Snuck up on me. Haircut tonight for the 2 gigs in a row, Friday and Saturday. Architecture's better at night because you can feel it thrust rather than be blinded by actually having to see it. Some people cry and some people die. Inside condenses. Fuck succinct. Manufacturing was moved to the continent, leaving our prime value real estate, which we trade around selling and consolidating, and digital managements of less and less owners. Fewer pockets get bigger and bigger. Rock into the oldies. Unbending pertinence gets shinier and shinier. Live and love in that transition as a kid. Commodore Cornelius Vanderbilt monopolized the bottleneck, selling his fleet of transit ferries and purchasing the town's sole railroad bridge. This song was on the radio all the time when I was in high school, though I grew up in the aughts, not the 70s. The Lord of the Rings lyrics I thought were cheesy, though the popular movies were out at the time. Moby Dick, Bonham Melville called me John Paul Jones. When the lawyers decide to drop America, watch out. Come upon Greg, sitting in Tompkins Square by Temperance Fountain and Gold Light, looking for hawks. As for gigs, neighbor downstairs says he likes busking. Can't tell if that's a song or an ad. Get warning from my phone, I've been listening too loud, too long. The dollar store is closed. I'm going to read 2 more, because why not? June 23rd, Palabra Express. Wet toads, I don't know why. 6 hours walk by, staring at ourselves in water. I have often walked on this street before. canyons of decaying masculinity. Welcome to the edge of the cage. If you have a Game Genie on a PS1, it's basically jailbroken. I can't even do the bare minimum. To remove Neroma, Dracula, conductor over the bridge, diving to practice. I wrote this one already. Has something to do with an active shooter under the river and through the woods in a filthy t-shirt. Being forward about dates, skipping Bleecker when I should get days in early for the holiday weekend, running express, skipping Prince, no shortcuts. 6 months of apartment, barking come through, full of money, resenting manning the canal, taking off the island to bend over backward for sharing Triforce. Big gig coming up Monday, need a third act for the bill. Edited my episode today in my head and on the computer. Mulberry, Poland, Greenwald boat launch, Graffito debt, Ziggurat project agent, MVD. Shit is clay going back to the earth, free for keeps. Salt Bhutan, the table you exceeded. Quick Crystal looked at my story to see if I'm unemployed. Don't bother me. I've got money for now. That's where I live. Flying coach to Bay Ridge. Time factor could hit the breach in Puerto Rico, same amount of time. Repetition becomes form, something you don't want. Eternity into decal. Can't write like I used to for a blip 2012, 2014 before I sacrificed my brain to drugs. I sacrificed my brain to drugs. And things weirdly held in place and stayed and keep staying. For little money, who knows where it comes from. Sauteed cabron means asshole, which my brother tells me, which the porter called me. The porter used to call me. I thought it meant something nice. It would have been impossible for me to be less pretentious. Heretofore Wavelorn, only 2 more stops. This person behind me is coughing. This person behind me is coughing. She gets a kind desk. I get so good they can ignore me. Cash your brain cells before they hatch. The Carter dress. Cabinetry toys. Camera on pay. Not so bad. Grandma's on Facebook. Lanford Wilson play. Pizza bills originate from Z-Co Cold Neck. When does it get to rings? Whenever I put it to hang. Who knows what I accomplished? Backing into a tree. Rippling despair. Drop the Moab. Caused pathologies from human experiment. All right, so this is going to close it out. Thank you, everyone, again. It's been really special. Thanks, everybody from the Poetry Project for coming and reading, sharing. Let's hang out, you know. I wanted just to get everybody... This is a company picnic, in a way. So thanks again. July 2nd, Via Carrata, which is a restaurant on Grove Street, where I get the free Wi-Fi from the Link NYC kiosk. Via Carrata. The American dream is to be homeless, puking violently all over the street, getting into fucking fights, turnkey in natural paradise, pick up anywhere, wing playing the trees, put them on stage, right into the moment. Canceled our gig last minute. How am I supposed to tell everybody? Ruined their holiday from my personal account. $5.43 Smirnoff handle. 1 foot in the signifier. That big mansion combining 3 houses I fixate on. Lighter ran out, won't spark. Think I'll ramble through Westbeth Courtyard. Can't ride all the rides at Disneyland in one day. Have to come back next year. Bernadette Mayer is my favorite filmmaker. Her novel, Memory, A Poetic Diary, and Kodachrome is my addiction to greatest New York City novels list, of which I hope this 18-hour mini-series is one. Meeting at the River After Dark. Johnny Boy. There's no way she would remember me. Wobbly table, collapsible hole, courtyard at night. Dew greetings everywhere. 4th July, BK Bridge, winking face, unexpected motif. Comes to you in days, planning a river to flow into Carroll Place dance floor. Today's accomplishments. Went to Wuji Rip and store. Got usual spicy pork bulgogi with kimchi and rice rather than steak and shrimp bowl. Cheaper but not as much food. Then over to BTS bookstore for inspiration and ear to the ground. Watched 2 episodes, Jan, Feb, and March, and April. Guess that's 3. Didn't seem like enough. More poetry. More scenes. A hole in May. Talked talked and slept into microphone. 4 hours eating turkey log and 3 different kinds of turkey. Sampling Brewers Dead and Company live at Riverbend. The gig got canceled, so fucking pissed about that. Eckhart Tolle on in the background. Things slip from our control. Loss is an inevitable part of the game. 2 steps forward, 1 gig, rescheduled, but who knows, I got pissy. In an email, Sam Shepard did his first plays there, Theater Genesis, Rocks in the Garden. Shaped up hair slightly at night, but everybody's out of town like storms at night. Do you have a light? I'm all out. Tom waits at the top of the register, drinking vodka in my pocket, sneaking in the bars. Moisture about to cry in the air. Woke to likes from X, 4 a.m. LA time. 4 pics, she must be jealous. My favorite place to play is busking. The great outdoors. No sleazy club owners, no hassles with promoters. Just the pure listening and concentration of natural spectrum. Proud to blend and be there. Thinks I'm a tough manager. Don't want to scrub why he likes me. Fleas and flies, bother and buy. Russian blow. Russian blow. Backroom Lion's Head. Bill Weathers used me. Couched by the Mega Touch Ion. Buy something or leave. Bodega closed early. Everybody out of town. Came to New York for poetry. The people are here, are supposed to live it and make it. Living magic, living magic. All my friends living magic. Show up, get texts about Bonfire of the Vanities, later 38 Camp Cascapedia, French girls want to see jazz. Alcohol breaches at night, chimes of $8 million archipelagos of bars, sitting, not waiting, depressurized after clear fireworks Monday. Registered power second, wrist drop, mayonnaise, pinky to my will. Who are these pictures on the wall? How do they raise the rent? Doing it long enough gets you noticed. Keep patio chairs and fireplace, lake house or cabin smell vibe. Moving right along, get me to the fucking church on time. I love Vivaldi, and the original track that Juicy was sampled from. A quasar ship with red chairs, that's all I can say. Sweaty, fireproof experience, Buck Dancer, Game of Thrones, pinball, minty rush to Smirnoff. What the heart of Saturday night tastes like. I need to go to bed. Thank you, EC Paradise. Have a great night. Thank you for coming. Wake up. Rachel Allen, Hilly Friedland, Corey Hutchins, Yvonne Lee Ben, Noa Mendoza, Aida Muratoglu. Thank you.
I totally
Oh, it's totally fine. I don't know how to do this.
Sorry.
We're totally Oh my god. Seriously? I was like, I don't know how to do this.
Oh my god, I love your stuff. I know Rose Leslie. I don't know her personally, but I yeah. She's amazing. Yeah. Oh my god. Grace. She was amazing. Thank you for coming. All right, yes. Yeah, take it. Take it.
Whichever. Are they different?
Yeah. So, hold on. Let me just figure out exactly. So this is my new one. This Blues Day one. That one's also new. Let me just see. With these? Yeah. This one's doing well. Hold on, let me just see. What's like my sex book? That's because it was a Valentine's. Well, it was a Valentine's Day thing. But this is like my sex book. But hold on, I just want to make sure because I got some of them are like reading copies.
Is that too many?
That's right.
It feels right.
Yes. You should hang out, you know. Thank you for coming. Who is the master that makes the grass green? What's that? Who is the master that makes the grass green? Is that what's that one? It's Bob. Oh shit, okay. Hell yes. Amazing. I was listening to some YouTube videos. I wish you were. He died on my birthday. Oh my god, you know? Alright, well thank you. So you got the right name to go through. He died on my birthday. Oh shit. Did you ever read about name to go through? That's right, Owen. We own most of the two brothers. Yes, I love the Wilson brothers. And Cosmic Trigger, of course. Yeah. Is an amazing fucking opus. Yeah. Why there's a lot of other videos on YouTube. It's Jameson. I'm sitting there and he's talking. That's amazing. Yeah, that's my alright. That's a great ritual. That was good. You're amazing. Thank you for coming.
Striped shirts.
Yes. Roberta, thank you again for coming. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Love to get a book off.
Let's we'll do something in August or something. You know, when's the practice back in September? We'll be in touch. Can't wait. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Yeah, no. Oh my god. I just wanted them to not charge me a bunch of money for doing that. And kick me out.
Does that happen already?
Yes. Well, 3 of like the 5 years I purchased there, I got kicked out. Yeah. Greg was there. He saw it. Well, he's there before I can't go back there.
Just because you're not spending enough money there? Is that
Well, they had. No, it was Valentine's Day. I played Valentine's Day. So I had this great one, date. And so during my set, I got a little excited, and they had this fucking bass drum on stage, and it looked like Sergeant Pepper's bass drum. It looked like 100-year-old, fucking marching band bass drum. So I'm like, this is a front. Well, first of all, I used their house amp, and it sucked. My guitar's cutting out shit, so I'm like, they don't give a fuck about your equipment, clearly. And it's old and shit. And so I grabbed this bass drum, and there's 2 bass drum pedals. And so I'm reading or doing whatever, and I'm on the bass drum pedals, hitting it, but I'm hitting the front of it. It's kind of the heat of the moment and shit. And so, there's a hole cut into the front of the bass drum for sound. So I'm hitting the front of it, and as I'm hitting it, it's yeah, it's it's like moving over and the fucking metal rods of the bass drum pedal are like tearing. Not that bad. It's the front of the bass drum. It's not that big of a deal. Well, that's what they told me. Thank you for coming. Alright, we'll talk soon. Let's hang out soon. It's an artifact. It's important. Culturally, yes. It's a significant.
I mean, it's some money because you can't buy it.
Wow, it should be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
It's on Wilson and Pete's.
Yeah.
And it's 100 years old. Who God knows? It's probably like fucking a music band. So I get an email. Well, I made $35 from the gig. They took home. And then they're like, yo, what's up with the bass drum, dude? You broke our bass drum. So I get an email from the next day. The guy told me after the game, he looked it up, and he's like, the head is, I think it was maybe $50. I think it was 30, which, as far as I'm concerned, I paid him. I give him $45. Like, I'm entertaining. I'm bringing my act to this place, you know? They should take care of us. Yeah, this is my friend Noa, by the way. Yeah, take it. This is, yeah, take it. Brennan and Jonathan. I'm sorry, what's your name?
I'm Matt also.
Oh, yeah, that's
Are
right.
they just, are you one of these or what?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, I was looking.
All right, sweet. There's $5, $10, whatever you want to pay me. So I think the next day, they're like, we took it to some place to get fixed. It's $90 an hour for the guy to fix it or something. Yeah, I don't know.
So this would take an hour to replace the show man.
Wait a minute, how about auto parts? Thank you.
Great, I love your stuff.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh my God. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Be in touch, man. Have a good night. I appreciate it.
All right, I'll be in touch. Absolutely. So they want to charge me $90.
So until you come up with the other 55 bucks,
Well,
you're not allowed that.
no, it was 120.
Oh.
Yeah. So the guy sent me like a balance. He's like, you made us 35. So the lady balance is $92 and like 47. And I'm like, I love playing beats. It's really hard.
It's like, it's a lovely venue, but it's kind of small.
Yes, exactly.
It's like a step up from the first time. In terms of space that you have.
It's exactly like a fucking train car.
Yeah, I love it right now. That's why I like to feel like.
Oh, if you get 40 people in there, you can't even fit 40.
Yeah, it's like the disoriented experience.
Yeah, there's people on the floor, there's bodies everywhere. And so, well, but that's, I don't know, that's kind of what I like because it's like, if you get 20 people in there, it feels like a lot. I'm killing it. Yeah, so I'm going there. Well, I don't know, I may have enough my
I feel like everybody who works anywhere doesn't really want to be working there, so like, if somebody makes more work for them, they're like, I don't know, it's not really the money, it's just sort of like, I got,
Oh yeah. Well, these are. Did you get the new one? You don't have this. You don't have this.
yeah, I have this.
Okay.
I have. That's what they say.
Oh yeah. I saw it on Instagram. I have one. Yes. definitely fractured. Yes, absolutely. It fractured our sense of time and reality. Yes, definitely. Yes.
The James Space Telescope.
Yeah, right.
I think it's the James Webb.
Named after great American from Casino.
High school.
James Woods, great American. Great scientist.
Yeah, he's a visionary. A long distance visionary.
And Renaissance man.
Sister Ron, I hope not.
Oh, it is actually. Well, it probably ran out. No, it's still